Hey folks, welcome back. This is Lucid, and we are back. So we're playing Ubar, and we're going into like a bit of a dormant phase. It's turn 31. I'm going to start this episode off with something kind of interesting. I've kind of come back and recorded this a bit after the fact. The game is not over, but it's much farther along. And I have talked with the Roost player, and I basically got the full skinny on what was all the diplomatic hoo-ha that was happening around me getting coalitioned. And I'm going to tell you that little story. That's how we're going to start this off. So when Roos first asked me for a nap, I said, no, let me think about it. I want to see what my other borders are like, or like something like that. And I'll get back to you. And the next turn I got back to him and said, I'm good with a nap. And then he ignored me and attacked me. Now, some of the kind of weird things that were happening was, we got attacked by Agartha, we got attacked by Roos, we got attacked by Helheim, and but some of it we kind of instigated, in the sense that we squabbled over a province with Roos, we hit Agartha's fort, and Helheim we didn't really instigate at all. But so apparently what has happened, we'll get out of this screen, is that Roos, when I didn't immediately accept their nap, they started building a coalition, and the coalition was him and Agartha and Helheim. And Pangaea never firmly committed to the coalition, but he agreed to a nap. So he didn't say he was going to attack me, but he would maybe do it after he finished with Satis. But he was going to nap them and protect the coalition. So Agartha really was going to attack me. So me attacking Agartha's fort might have been fine. I mean, maybe he would have done something else first. And apparently Agartha was diploing pretty hard to form a coalition. So I think Roos and Agartha were probably some of the more loud starters of the coalition. So how bad do I feel for knocking over his fort? Not very bad. So the intel we got from Pangaea actually was probably mostly true, in that Agartha was scheming and part of a coalition to XV1 me. And yeah, and Pangaea he knew that because he was getting pulled into it. And there really was a coalition, like Helheim attacked on site. Yeah, these guys were going to attack me anyway. So all the, like whether I hit his fort or not, it's probably a good thing. Just deprived him of income so that he would be less able, this would have been potentially making units and mages, which he would have won, used to better win when he did end up attacking me. So yeah, how bad do I feel about it? Not very bad. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what if Agartha was just posturing, like saying he was going to coalition me, and then, but he was faking it or something. I don't care. If he's talking about doing it and other people are actually doing it and he's saying he's going to do it and he's not in a non-aggression pact with me, I feel not bad at all knocking over his fort. Anyway. So I tell you guys, I have a pretty good spider sense for when, because this is not the first time we've been coalitioned. And I have a pretty good spider sense for when I'm about to get attacked. And my spider sense was going off really, really hard with Agartha. Not only from Pan telling me, who I trusted, but I just felt it. My spider sense was going. So I don't know if that move hurt or helped knocking down Agartha's fort. He made a big deal of it and said he was pissed, and I think he was a bunch of bullshit. I think he was going to attack me anyway. Anyway. They are busy dealing with elves running in everywhere. They've got some funny things, like they're using stone hurlers against the elves. Because apparently if an elf catches a boulder, they just instantly die, which I find hilarious. Yeah, and let's talk about, we're going to, again, if you missed that last episode, we're going through these quickly because we're not actually participating in much. We did send our god over here to pick off these barbarians. And our god is beyond the point where she cares at all about barbarians. Does she even need personal region? That is the question. It appears the answer so far is no. She took 0 damage. Excellent. All right, some bad events, as one does when one has luck. We took luck one, which is a little weird. This was in hopes of getting, because, you know, again, we're thinking about evocation, right? And this is potentially Celestial Rainbow, was the thinking. Anyway, we're going to come in here and site search this. We can see Ulm right over here. Airmore is right here. This is what was Kaelasa. So Airmore has completely effed up Vanheim, which is pretty interesting because Vanheim is pretty hard to kill at turn 30. Their sacreds are still going to be, you know, running on diesel fuel and are going to be very, very hard to stop. We've got some more traps set up for Roos. I'm fully expecting him to raid me. I don't know why he's not. And honestly, this is kind of dumb, me setting up these traps, because he could raid with skin shifters, which, you know, would be good. Because he won't lose anything. Or he could raid with chaff, which would be bad, but it could sneak out. And if it can sneak out, then we can't do any of this business. So anyway, the kit we've got is a handful of acorns, fire in a jar, and a copper plate. Copper plate's actually real nice in assassinations because it's going to protect me from, you know, any air shenanigans they do, but importantly, it's going to zap the living shit out of somebody. It's a really good item in assassinations. And this is, unlike charged body you get on your bless, this is a powerful charged body. This will knock the dog crap out of somebody. So that's that. Probably would be better off having these guys researching, but we really want to get like we want to steal a dude or two. And this fort, we are making these little kahin, which are very cheap, but we're also making some siege chaff, which I'm not actually sure why we're doing that. We probably need to rebuild a little bit of our standing army, but because we're not going to be going into a conflict, we'd be better off, I think, at this point, doing another fort somewhere. And then down here, we've got these guys raiding. And the big thing we have left to do is to take this out. And I honestly forget how we do it. I think it's a bunch of elementals. With that, let's go ahead and go to turn 32. We're going to keep the pace booking. 10 air gems from Vanheim. Cast Dark Knowledge. We found a site. We found a gem deposit, which is really nice because we're really poor. And we caught some scouts. Where are we catching all these scouts? I guess they're in Ubar proper. Here we caught a black harpy from Pan. We're blood hunting with these Shaitan. You can see we've made the sanguine dowsing rods, and we're on full Shaitan production now. We got this guy who's an earth random. We really do want an air random so we can do watchers. We'll put another one of these guys in production, but for now, this guy's going to hang out. He will be able to super combatant sort of better than my Shaitan, though not a lot better. But it's good to have one of these around. And I think that's basically it. We're consolidating an army here, which I think we may use to come and hit this. And we're going to be raiding... Okay, yeah, so these guys were here this turn, and there's a good likelihood... This is why we're moving these guys here. The raiders were here. When you're dealing with elves, you think, okay, well, the elves may have moved here or here. If they moved here, there's a good chance they're going to attack these provinces. They could also attack this province. So anyway, we're just going to intercept them if they come to a couple of these. We should be good. So that's turn 32. Research, we'll pull that up real quick. We're heading really hard for Blood 5. It's going to be one of our first 5s, and that's because... And I didn't talk about this enough last episode, guys. We mentioned it briefly, like I was saying, the only way we're going to have a way back in this game is through blood. The thing is, our units are going to suck against like Pangaea, those white centaur, will murder us. Even normal centaur will do really good against things that aren't Jinn. So like white centaur will prevent us from using Jinn, and then the other normal centaur stuff will be really good against my other things. Yeah, it's going to be really hard to get away using Jinn this match. Ulm, we could potentially use him against, but Ulm's been a buddy. Helheim, we can't really use it against. And Tirnanog has magic weapons, and I think they have Spirit Sight too. I don't remember the Tirnanog Bless. Airmore also has an anti-Ubar Bless, I've been told. So basically we're stuck. Like, and the other thing too, guys, is the archers, which got us through the early game, are falling off now. Like, people are going to have arrow fend. There's a lot of air nations around, or nations with air access. And yeah, the days of being able to rely on archers to carry me are kind of over, right? So my mages are going to have to carry me if I get in another big conflict. But if I want troops, my troops are going to need to come from blood. And I'm right now in the game, I'm not certain whether I want them to be something like these ghouls, which I can get, which would be kind of nice, or I may want to have to start making various kinds of demons, but those really you can't get efficiently until Blood 9, which is a long time from now. The other option is we could just put all of our things into vampires and say forget about the demons. So there's a lot to kind of figure out, but the only thing I know is that we need scalable unit production, and it's not going to come from our Recruit Anywhere troops, I don't think. They are going to, while these archers are nice, they fall off extremely hard once people have fire resistance and arrow fend. So we'll have to figure out what we do there. And the Jinn, I don't think we can use when everybody has an anti-Ubar bless. I mean, we'll still use the Shaitan, but the Jinn, I don't think so. So that's basically it. We're trying to intercept some invisible Rus Raiders, which are running around. We're starting to get a mage economy going. The other thing I do want to get is I want to get lantern production going. That may be what we do after blood, but we're also getting our blood economy going, guys. That's the most important thing, because I'm honestly not going to be able to do much in terms of major military engagements until I'm deep into blood. All right. And yeah, I'll just mention again, we have like we basically pledged fealty to Pangaea. And here we go, 33. We got 10 air gems from Vanheim. I think this is his death basket. I think he's already dead. He got completely crushed by Airmore. They had a few important battles. I think Airmore might have done a combination of a fatigue play with using a bunch of Rotarius or something like that. Oh, it looks like we managed to catch some of his raiders. And we barely caused the rout. Those guys are pretty tough. These hunters, they go berserk, so you don't have to worry about them routing. Pretty tough, but we traded real well. So, again, guys, this is what was anticipated, right? This is how you think about stupid little elves, right? They were here the turn before. We expected they were invisible here, and then we put, like, one distance out, we put a bunch of traps for them. Goddamn stupid elves. That's how you handle them. All right. Pangaea slams into Rus, and we'll take a look at Pangaea's Bless here. This is probably going to be one of the cooler battles of the episode, so get your popcorn out, boys. On Rus's side, we have a bunch of guys, not with many gems. We've got like this guy with a few air gems. We've got some Firebirds. We've got this guy with the Moonblade, I guess in case I brought a Shaitan or something. And on Pangaea's side, we have some Maeneids up in the front. We've got this guy with some Earth Boots and some Nature Gems. We've got a few commanders with, there's a Holy 3. I don't know what he's got on all the commanders. Some more Nature Gems. So it looks like there's going to be some Swarm spam. Swarm, by the way, very, very effective against Rus. And the reason is these bears, they've only got one attack. So do the Chud, these guys, the Chud Berserkers or Skin Shifters. One attack. So it takes them a long time to get through the bugs, and they can fatigue out. So we'll see how this battle is scripted. I think if I were doing it, I'd probably, and I brought enough charm spam, I would probably want to let the charm kind of do its thing and like run in, have the rest of my guys on hold and attack. When it looks like instead he's doing Wooden Warriors, which can be good. I think Rus probably has the ability to get off flaming arrows if they wanted to. That being said, we get to see Pangaea's Bless. And Pangaea's Bless is attack, it's a monstrous bless. It's attack +2, magic weapons, shock resistance 10, poison resistance 15, fire resistance 10, defense +4, undying 2, strength +6, blood surge, and undead leadership. I don't know if we mentioned magic weapons. They also have Spirit Sight, which you see on this screen, not on that other one. So once these guys are blessed, they have kind of ridiculous stats. They hit for just a boatload of damage, and they have very high attack. And then for me, it's the full suite of anti-Ubar stuff. The complete full suite. So yeah, he does the swarm, and he has these guys on fire javelins. And let's just, I want to kind of zoom in here. We'll kind of go to normal speed if we can. So let's look at this. They've got this guy who's only got 3 HP left. He hits like a freight train, right? So he hits 21 attack, 35 damage. That's going to hit these guys almost all the time, and it should about one hit kill them. Once they switch to bear form, they've got 2 more attacks that have a very good chance to kill. But these guys have a fair amount of armor. I think that's one thing I didn't take into account, because they've got wooden warriors on them, and then they've got berserker on top of that, and that gives them a natural protection of 13. And then combined with their armor and stuff, these are not one-hit kills, so it's going to take multiple hits to kill them. So and it may have been what Pangaea was doing, was waiting to get wooden warriors, because they just put up Mother Oak like a turn or 2 ago. So it may have been, before they went to Caparus, they're waiting to get the wooden warriors. And because they have fire resistance and they're blessed, they don't have to worry about flaming arrows or anything. So I think that was one of the things that made like a big difference, and why they were able to really, really efficiently kill these Chud skin shifters. They only lost 13 white centaur, so very efficient battle. From Roos's side, let's look at it again. I want to see what Roos was casting, because I don't think he had much research. He was making a lot of raiders to run around and do deep raiding where he wasn't collecting any income. So he didn't have a lot of money to invest in forts and in mages. So yeah, they did Swarm and Conjuration 3 stuff. And meanwhile, Pangaea brought basically Alteration 5 stuff. And so it's Pangaea at a higher tech level with better sacreds, fighting a already heavily weakened enemy. That's basically what we have here. So yeah, just a massacre. And that's basically all there's left of Roos. There's not much left for him to do. Kathy Ames has searched here and did not find anything. Okay. By the way, this game, I don't know if you've been looking at the turn files, is called East of Eden. That is the name of the game. And Kathy Ames is my pretender. So kudos if anybody catches that reference. But I just read the book. And yeah. Okay, and then these guys are on top of the fort. The fort is going to crack probably next turn. And that will be the end of Roos. And we can see over here, there are some Helheim flags where there used to be Ulm flags. So Ulm was probably smart to let Pangaea finish off Roos. Because, and I don't know when it started, if he anticipated it or anything, but Helheim has attacked him and Pan is busy trying to defend himself. Now I am interested in Ulm winning this conflict, because Helheim was a little bastard and 3v1'd me, so having Helheim, me out-surviving Helheim, and any way I can contribute to his demise, is one of my little mini victory conditions, death to the gangbangers. So that is one reason. The other reason is not only do I like the Ulm player, but they were a bro, and they were basically the only one I could talk into helping me out against Roos. So, and Helheim's really scary to me. So, and Ulm does not have a good bless versus me. So if later in the game we have to fight, it's a good matchup. So there's like 20 reasons I want Ulm to win. I think I start giving him some advice for how to deal with, because he's got a bunch of elf thugs running around and little hell heretics. And the problem with fighting those guys is you really cannot use normal troops against elves. That's like the one thing you have to get in your head when you're fighting like elves, especially little horse elves. You cannot use normal troops. And if you try, you're going to just be horribly, horribly sad. So one of the things we started tinkering around with, I'm talking with Ulm, is we start tinkering around with different kits you can do on their little Recruit Anywhere mages. And it's funny, his pretender god name is I Swear to God If I Get Elfed. And of course he's getting elfed right now as we're looking at his nation. But these little warrior smiths, they're pretty interesting because you can do iron skin on them, so they become pretty tough. They can also do iron will, so they get higher MR, which is actually pretty useful if they're attacking like a thug with a vine shield. And they come in a few randoms. And, you know, the randoms can all do different interesting things. Of particular note is the water random. And the water random is going to be able to do the quickness, which is only Alt 4. And these guys with a decent kit of weapons, especially when in 2s or 3s, and we're talking like very budget kit. Like, don't you use the armor they already have. You just give them 1 or 2 weapons. And then you have them buff each other as they stand in the same square and run in. That's one way to deal with elves. The other way is these guys can summon like elementals. The problem, you can get earth elementals, right? So the earth elementals are one of the other ways you can deal with elves, is elves don't do great against trample. So like if you had like a few guys summoning earth elementals, that could get you a pretty long way. Baby water elementals aren't going to do great here, and baby air elementals aren't going to do great, but big air elementals will. But you're not going to have many big air elemental casters. You have to have an air too, and those are going to be kind of rare. Quite rare. You're not going to be able to really use those for the defense. Fire is a little bit better, because with 5 fire gems, a fire 1 can make 2 elementals. So that's a pretty good deal. That's the other thing you can do. So I was trying to give him a full download for how to deal with elves so that he could put up a good defense. But right now, when he's getting attacked from this direction, and I'm seeing his stuff like with a Helheim flag down here, it does not look good. It does not look good. So the other thing we have to start doing is, and I don't know when we're going to come get this, but we're going to let Ulm try to fight. But if Ulm starts falling, we're going to want to vulture some of this. And I'm about to make a deal with him. It'll probably be in a few turns, but if he takes it back, I can take it from him. And because I have a nap with Helheim, I can kind of protect it with my flag, which on one hand, it's just like vulturing. And on the other hand, it's a little douchey to do when you have a nap with somebody to come in and take some of their stuff. But I don't have any... If he wants to end the nap and fight me, so be it. But yeah, fuck Helheim. But I mean, we'll respect the nap, so I'm not going to like attack Helheim. But if Ulm gets it back, I can take it from Ulm and then protect it with my flag. And if he wants to fight me, then we can end our nap. So that's something that's going to happen. And I'm actually kind of interested in Pangaea, who I'm kind of a disciple of, attacking Helheim. That would be kind of interesting for me. It would also mean I potentially get to eat some of this. And I forget, Airmore might be interested in attacking Helheim too. And so might Kaelasa. So there's a few people who are kind of interested in fighting Helheim, because Helheim's going to be pretty scary once he has Fog Warriors and Wailing Winds coming out every single fight. And I think he already has Wailing Winds. I think that's already up. And it's pretty early for Wailing Winds, so he did kind of like a research-heavy strategy. And that's going to make it very hard for Ulm to fight too, by the way. So we'll go to turn 34. We're getting more wolves. This is for blood hunting. We have some bad events. And we are finally going to make the play on the throne. So we'll look at what I have here. Yeah, more Helheim rating. This is not looking good for Ulm. Now we get attacked by events here and here. So we're going to be sending in Shaitan to deal with this. I'm actually not sure if this is enough kit to deal with this. I actually think this guy is going to die. This is not enough kit to kill these Spine Devils. We probably would need to summon air element. I mean, to summon fire elemental. So I don't know what I'm doing here. This actually may be a double fail. I feel like this is a really bad script. Like running this guy into barbarians. Fire Shield is great and Mist Form is great, but I don't think this is good. I think these are both really bad ideas. And I don't remember how this goes, but I'm just going to tell you, this looks like a really bad idea. What is probably a better idea is we are coming in to attack these guys. So here's the plan. We basically have flaming arrows going off. We've got a bunch of archers. We've got these guys on hold and attack closest. I really try to avoid running like Scales armies into thrones. Because I don't like trading to get a throne. I want to get it for free. So usually I'm looking to like cheese it with a super combatant or assassins or something. In this case, I think we have to fight it with an army. So we'll do that. We've got Jinn that are going to attack closest. They should do pretty well against the lions and pretty well against the fire snakes because they have fire resistance. And then the archers are going to basically do all the killing. We're going to be making some baby fire elementals and some baby air elementals. And that's basically it. And we're going to be casting, I think we have a little bit of evocation research. So we'll probably be walking in doing some shockwave or something, or lightning bolt. So that's basically it for this turn. We'll see how all of this goes, and that will probably be the end of this episode. So we'll go ahead and pull up turn 35. And see how it plays out. All right, let's watch these battles. What are the odds that I survive this? The one thing I've got going for me Did we die? We didn't. Yeah, the one thing I had going for me was that because we had Mist Form on, we died slowly enough we were able to retreat. I think the spine things really hurt. Okay, so this is the throne battle. We've got flaming arrows up. The Jinn on hold and attack closest, they're probably about to run forward and attack now. What turn is it? Just turn 2, so they're just running to attack. They're jumping on these lions. We've got some fire elementals coming out, which looks like some of these are going to make contact with these shadows, which is going to be perfect. Because you see they're going to just annihilate them. The lions have crushed my left flank. So those archers are retreating. We've got their god. I mean, it's an independent god, right? But their god's right here. He's gotten zapped by a lightning bolt. And I think they're going to keep targeting him with lightning bolts. There's also a fair amount of these hunters back here, which are putting up a pretty good barrage of arrows, which are hurting. They hurt a lot. The god being chipped away, I think he's about halfway dead. More arrows coming in. These arrows are really causing a lot of damage. We've got Sulfur Haze that's just getting dropped over here. A little bit of Shockwave coming out. This guy's got probably one last Lightning Bolt before he dies. He's got 2 HP. And a lot of our flank has now collapsed. Their god is routed. There's a decent chance we cause an HP rout now. And you can't see it, but we've got a lot of Jinn here. You can't see it, but yeah, we've caused the general rout. That was actually really close. And that's one of the reasons I don't like hitting these thrones with normal armies, because you kind of tend to lose a lot. We lost a Shaitan, which sucks. And, I mean, we lost a fair amount of stuff. I mean, this was an acceptable loss, but we also had a lot of people go run in the retreat. So we lost an additional 10 guys in the retreat. We lost another commander in the retreat. So, yeah. You know, all in all, we lost, I don't know, 40 dudes. Which is not great, but we now are the proud owner of a throne. We were able to kill these barbs. So at least that did not end in tragedy. Iron Skin, Mist Form, Fire Shield, Flying Shield. And yeah, they just burninate themselves. And there's a battle in Roos where they're going through the fort. And there's not much inside here. Just a few mages and a big fat dream. So a bunch of swarm spam. Yeah, sadly you actually have to kill these centaur. I mean, you could kind of fatigue them out. But no. Yep. Hardly any losses. Lost a Dryad Mother and lost 6 White Centaur. I don't think he sent all the White Centaur in either. So, yeah, Roos got completely crushed. So, anyway, hopefully he has, you know, he's met his just end. Being a gangbanger, technically, because I was still fighting him, he died in a 3v1. So, I would say that is a just end. 2v1s are kind of normal. 3v1s are a little unhonorable, guys. Just gonna say that. 3v1s are pretty unhonorable, and apparently they were trying to arrange a 4v1, but Pangaea just didn't commit. Guys, it has 0 honor to do that. It is not cool. It is not cool. So we're gonna come clear out these spine devils here, and Agartha's got some stuff they're building up over this way, but I'm not really worried about it because, as you can see, Agartha's being painted green. And I don't know why he's got all these guys on top of this fort. I don't know if he's got them all patrolling or what, but he's got to get out and go kill elves, and it doesn't look like he's killing elves nearly fast enough. Because, like I said, this is looking a lot more like TNN and a lot less like Agartha. We're getting another Sultan. I'm trying to roll an Air 3 so I can do Watchers. That will really help if I start getting raided and stuff. And I don't have my moves for this turn, it doesn't look like. But I think there's a very good chance that this turn I attack with Kathy Ames into this throne province. And the agreement I have with Ulm is if I protect it with my flag, I'll send him income and gems from it for a while. Until he can take it back, or until it looks like he's dying, and then I'm not going to send it anymore. Because right now he's a little bit in the death throes. Like, he's way down in land, and it's a bad matchup for him. And yeah, you know, I think a lot of it though, it still comes back to timing. Like, it's a bad matchup, but if he had attacked Roos earlier, had Roos's capital, he could have a lot more resources, could be a lot better prepared to fight Helheim. As it was, he was mostly done with Roos when Helheim attacked, but not completely done. So attacking like 5 or 6 turns earlier might have made a big difference. Whoops. I accidentally clicked off the screen. Okay. So yeah, the throne we got is the Throne of Fire, which on one hand is cool because we can always use fire gems. On the other hand, we don't really need the Bless. Could be kind of good if we wanted to like thug out. I mean, here's the thing. Thugging Shaitans and I'm not really a believer in, or not Shaitans and like Sultans. Like the Bless, does this help? Not really. I don't think it helps at all. We get these guys, Fire 3s, kind of nice. I mean, it's good for it's a good mage. Mostly it's the fire gems for us, because we've got pretty good fire access anyway. But we'll probably go ahead forting our one and only throne and protect it with our lives. We're going to site search it and whatnot. But yeah, that's basically it. So the game state has shifted. Vanheim's been knocked out. Roos has been knocked out. Agartha is in the process of getting knocked out. Helheim is eating Ulm, but is probably going to get attacked by other people. I think it's Ulm that wants to eat Helheim. I think that's the prime mover that wants to eat, not Ulm, Airmore that wants to eat him. Being played by Sakane. So we are in full support of that. Death to the gangbangers to the end. Thieves with no honor. So we will see you in the next episode, where it'll be turn 36. Take care.